There's a proposal set to pass in 24 hours that will change everything. This will be a major step forward to help make LUNC to $1 actually a possibility. Let's talk about what this proposal is, why it's such a big deal, and how you can take advantage of this before it passes in just 24 hours. Now, at face value, this proposal sounds kind of cryptic. You reunify the orbits of the moons? Like, what the heck does that mean? Don't worry, I'm going to break it down really simple for you and explain why this is so important. Now, in simple terms, this proposal updates the version of Tendermint. Now, you might have heard that term before. You might be wondering, what is Tendermint? Well, this is where we get into the conversation of IBC and utilizing the cross-chain utility. And let me explain how this actually works for you. Now, I actually was reading up about Tendermint and saw an interesting analogy that I think makes it a lot easier to understand for us people who are not programmers. Tendermint enables an SDK or a software development kit, which essentially is just like a Swiss Army knife for programming. It's essentially a universal tool set that can be used in a bunch of different scenarios like a Swiss Army knife, or in this case, in a bunch of different blockchains. And so this makes it really easy to move between these different blockchains in the Cosmos ecosystem because you have this tool set that'll work in all the different scenarios. Instead of, let's say, having a knife and now you're trying to do a screw, it's going to be extremely difficult, if not impossible. That's what it's like on other blockchain scenarios. But because the Cosmos is unique, we share this Swiss Army knife that essentially allows these developers to use this universal tool set to transfer their project between these different blockchains within the Cosmos. Now, this Tendermint upgrade helps lay the framework for this IBC or cross-chain functionality where we could have these different applications and software and programs actually be transferable really easily between the different blockchains. And this would allow us to bring a lot of projects, a lot of utility to Terra Luna Classic, which is something we desperately need. I mean, here's an example of a list right next to me. It's a little bit outdated. It's from December, but you can get an idea here. There are a lot of different services, a lot of different utilities, a lot of different opportunities for Terra Luna Classic that exist within the Cosmos that are on these different chains. And as we take steps forward, we can start getting these onto the Terra Luna Classic ecosystem super easily. And one of the reasons why this is so important to get these different utilities on chain is the Terra Luna Classic burns. As we've seen before, when utilities really evolve in our ecosystem, they start to adapt the things that we're passionate about. For example, Terra Luna Classic burns. And so right now we can see this average daily burn number is not that insane. We're under 150 million Terra Luna Classic per day, which is not nothing, but it's still not a ton of Terra Luna Classic. And we can see that this chart shows very clearly we are on an upward trend, but it's very slight. And so with these different utilities, if they come into our ecosystem, which hopefully they can do a lot easier now, or once this update is done, then they're going to come into our ecosystem. They're going to go, hey, we're going to start doing burns. We're going to promote burns. We're going to support the community. This could increase this burn number to up to over 1 billion LUNC per day, which would really make a dramatic difference to help decrease our total supply. And if you're optimistic about these different utilities coming to the Terra Luna Classic blockchain and actually providing utility, providing value, giving us hype and increase on our burn amounts, just so many positive features here, what you could do, and this is not financial advice, but if you have that opinion, you could go ahead and buy more Terra Luna Classic. If I put myself in the shoes of a lot of people in the Terra Luna Classic community, and let's say I bought in at these high different peak numbers, we bought at a lot higher prices, what I would personally do is I'd probably be dollar cost averaging right now, because I'd be surprised if we don't see Terra Luna Classic go up to basically around the 3 level off of this news, off of the IBC actually being integrated and a lot of this progress happening. Now, again, this might not be necessarily instantaneous, but ideally these applications should be able to come over to Terra Luna Classic blockchain within a couple months, a lot faster timeline than it would otherwise be. And so as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking right now is a pretty good time to dollar cost average if I bought really high. Now, me personally, I bought about the 15 level. So right now I'm slightly positive. I might wait and see to dollar cost average, but if I had bought higher, let's say above the 3 level, it might be a good idea to dollar cost average, because right now you're looking at, if we go back up to roughly about that 3 level, you're looking at about an 80% gain from where we are right now, which again, this is definitely risky and you need to be careful and do your own research on this. But if I had bought higher, I would definitely want a dollar cost average my way down. In my opinion, Terra Luna Classic just has so much potential. It's either going to rise up like a phoenix and probably be my highest gainer for 2023, or we're going to crash and burn and we're going to fail miserably. So for me, I'm being very careful with how much I'm buying into Terra Luna Classic. Don't spend more than you can afford to lose. And if you want to learn about some interesting conversations in the Terra Luna Classic community, such as a reverse split that could potentially make Terra Luna Classic $1 next week, check out this video up here and I will catch you all in the next one.